Show. It is time for Student of the Gun Radio. We've got some good news for you guys today. I know we've got a little bit of light in the darkness, and we're going to talk about some gun stuff. We got Zach in his studio, Jared in his studio, and just briefly, we're going to talk about what is going on with the AFT and their latest scheme to control us. So, we'll let you comment on that on your own. All that on today's episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All right, yes, indeed. It is I, the Pimp Hand of America. I'm not here to say what you want to hear. I'm here to say what needs to be said. Unfortunately, many people seem to skip over that and forget that part. And then they have to go to Walmart, to aisle 3, the bottom shelf over on the right-hand side, get some Vagisil and apply it to the appropriate area. Just saying. So Jared dropped this in here. Jared, do you want to basically just set it up, this AFT nonsense?
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know that it's the title is Definition of Frame or Receiver and Identification of Firearms. And essentially what that is we all know about what the AFT is trying to do with reclassifying terms and blah, blah, blah. They've opened this for public comment. And the document has a comment period that ends on August 19th, 2021. And the link that's in the show notes, there's a button to submit a formal comment. You can also mail a physical letter there as well. So if you're concerned about this thing, they did the same thing. They opened it up for some other thing. I can't remember exactly what it was because it just left my brain. But
they do this all the time.
Last December, they opened up for public comments, some changes that they were going to make, and people submitted their formal comments, and they decided that they were not going to go forward with it. So it does make a difference.
Well, what they did this back during Comrade Barry's reign. They were going to reclassify Saiga shotguns, magazine-fed shotguns, as destructive devices. And they got a lot of pushback on it. And so they said, okay, we won't do that. And they waited like 2 months, and Comrade Barry then issued an embargo against Russian imports.
Oh yeah.
I
know what it was in December. In December, it was the brace stuff.
So they're like, well, with our right hand, we wanted to do this. And they're like, oh, we're not going to do that. So we'll do this with our left hand. Kind of like when they did the ban on the 7.6N imported ammo. It had nothing to do with safety. It had nothing to do with health and security and protecting blah, blah, blah. It had everything to do with punishing the American gun owner. Because what the American gun owner was doing is they were buying really inexpensive ammunition for their rifles, and we can't have that. We can't allow Americans to get inexpensive ammunition for their rifles. So we'll make up some hullabaloo crap about you're not allowed to have a pistol with armor-piercing ammo, and except that every AR-15 pistol, every AR pistol is a armor-piercing ammo-capable pistol. Every single one. Right? So, well, that doesn't make any sense then. No, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't have a 5.45 pistol because it's armor piercing. What? Where? Somebody explain to me where in the Constitution it says, well, the Second Amendment, unless we decide that the tool is armor piercing, then you're not allowed to have it. What are you talking about? It's insane nonsense. We're like, well, I don't know. What are we going to do? See, you guys are going to get me started on this. Here's the thing that I have to say about this AFT's notification, public document, and open for comment, blah, 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 blah. In case you were wondering, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is not open to comment. All right? Right? And every time they do this, so what do we know about the left? The left owns the media. The left owns big tech. So if they wanted to, they could just get Shannon and her sandwich makers to flood this with, yeah, you're right. You absolutely need to ban ghost guns and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, see, look at this. We got thousands and thousands of emails from Shannon and her sandwich makers. And so we're going to alter the law. The Constitution's not open for freaking public comment. Democracy is bullcrap. Democracy is mob rule. The United States of America is not a democracy, never has been, not for one single day. Because our founders were smarter than us, and they knew that democracy always devolves into mob rule, and that with democracy, the government can bribe the idiot masses to vote their favor, which is exactly what we're seeing. At some point in time, you guys can go look at this all you want, but at some point in time, if we hope to have a country again, the people of this country are going to have to stand up, be adults, and say, no, we've had enough of your crap, and we're not going to take any more of it. Don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe when gas hits $5 a gallon, maybe when you can't afford to buy milk, maybe when you can't afford to build a house or repair a house because the cost of the construction is so high that you can't do it. Maybe then. I don't know. But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about guns.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to play devil's advocate here, but I just can't. No. I literally can't think of anything, so I'm just not going to do it.
All right, Zach, bump us into the Duracoat finished firearm segment. Yes, we've got a new segment in case you guys haven't been paying attention. And if you haven't been here for a while, every Monday we do a Duracoat finished firearm of the week. I pick a gun and I talk about it, and we all get excited, and then later on, when we're by ourselves, we remember what Paul said and do whatever's appropriate. But what we've got right here, what I've got in my hands, is I've got the NAC-9. That's right. It's a NAC-9, NAK-9er. This is a very serious piece of steel here. So this gun, if you can see it, great. If you can't see it, well, that's great too. Started out with a wooden stock and a pistol grip, a standard configuration. And because I had to markle it up, well, I just have to do that. All right, starting at the front, what I did is I installed a Barking Spider muzzle brake to dampen the blast and actually push the blast away from me, since this is a pistol and it has a short barrel. So the Barking Spider is fantastic when it comes to muzzle brakes. It pushes the gas away from the shooter's face, and that is a good thing. That came from Spikes Tactical. Then right behind it, this rail system I got from Samson Manufacturing. Installed that. This is actually, because I am a powerful, influential member of the media, I got the first one off of the production line for the pistol. The first pistol size one off the production line. This is a couple of years ago. So got that. And then moving on down, the NAC-9 comes with a rail on the receiver. So on the desk cover. So I went to Brownells and I got a Vortex Crossfire red dot optic, and I installed that on there. Then at the back, at the rear, I installed an Ergo grip, pistol grip, nice and big. I really like these. They're my big fat hands, my large hands. An Ergo grip, pistol grip, and then right behind it, an SB Tactical brace. And then from Brownells, I went ahead and just bought, because I wanted to, an OD green Glock magazine. It'll feed all Glock magazines. It'll feed Glock 19 or 17 or whatever magazines, all 9mm Glock magazines. I guess I should have brought that up. The NAC 9 is fed by standard configuration Glock 9mm magazines, which is great because they're, what do we know? What do we know, Jared, about Glock magazines?
That they are quality.
That there are more of them in America than any other pistol magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know what you were looking for there.
No, it's a good thing because a lot of these companies, they come out with 9mm, carbines or pistol caliber carbines or whatever, or pistol caliber pistols or whatever, and they make proprietary magazines with them for them. This magazine goes to this gun only and nothing else. What that ensures is that you're never going to be able to find magazines, and when you do, they're going to be really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So when you build something around a Glock magazine, what you're guaranteeing is that there are more, when it comes to handguns, there are more Glock 17 style magazines in America than any other. No, there's not. Yes, there is. Just live with it. I don't care if you like the Glock or hate it. Facts are facts. There's more Glock magazines than there are SIG, than there are Canic, than there are Taurus, than there are whatever. And that's a good thing for something like this. And of course, these are, I think this is, what is this? It's not 30, it's 31. So this is a 31. Word of caution, the KCI extended Glock magazines are garbage. All right? I'm just going to go ahead and say this out loud. The KCI extended Glock magazines are garbage. So if you get one of those, you're like, oh, I found these for $9. Man, what a great deal. Then you get a gun like this. You're like, your gun sucks. Your gun jams all the time. No, the gun's not jamming. You put a $9 piece of crap magazine in it, and now it doesn't run. I do not envy gun manufacturers, Jared. And I talk to them, and they're like, yeah. People call them like, your gun jams all the time. All right, what's going on? Oh, well, rah, rah, rah. Well, what are you using? Well, I found these magazines on sale and for $9, and that's why your gun doesn't run. Or my old favorite was people would buy semi-automatic 22s, whether it was a pistol or a rifle, and then they'd go and they'd buy the Remington Thunderbolt, the cheapest 22 ammo on planet Earth, for 99 cents for a box of 50. And then they would complain. Can I say bitch? They'd bitch. Oh, your gun sucks. It doesn't run. Maybe if you weren't putting 99 cent, 2-cent ammo in it, it would run. If you, Jared, you know how old I was when I learned about running good ammo in semi-automatic firearms?
-5.
No, I was 17. A good buddy of mine got a Marlin. What was the Marlin tube fed? 60 or 66, something like that. It was a tube fed Marlin. Had like a 22 shot tube or whatever. You guys all remember the tube fed 22 semi-autos, right? The Marlins were super famous. And I went into the gun shop. We went into the gun shop, and we mentioned something about how, because we could go to the local gas station and buy the Thunderbolt, a 50 round box of Thunderbolt for 99 cents, literally. We went to the gun shop, and Charlie's like, you can't run a semi-auto 22 on that cheap ammo, because it's not for, it's people who buy that. They expect the people who buy that to be shooting single shot bolt actions or revolvers or something. And that's when I was giving the advice. He reached under the counter, and he put a 100 round box of CCI Mini Mag, the orange, opaque, or the translucent orange box, right? He said, you got a semi-auto? This is what you need to run in it. And our young eyes were opened. We're like, oh. Of course, we were both 17. We couldn't buy it from him because we were 17. So we had to have our parents or his older sister buy us the ammo. But that's when I started, as soon as I got a driver's license, I started hanging out at the gun shop. I would drive there and I would just look at stuff and listen to people talk and, and then ask my parents to buy me whatever. But yeah, I think Wayne was 17 when his parents bought him the semi-auto, Marlin 22. And but yeah, I was 17 and I learned that. But I feel bad I do. I feel bad for these gun makers because, Jared, you want to know something I saw the other day? So I went into the local gun shop and the owner was talking to a guy and I walked in. I was like, hey, man. And he's like, you might know the answer to this question.
That's funny.
I was like, uh-oh. So I said, what? He picks up a Kel-Tec sub 2000 9mm, right? And he said, guy brought it in, can't find a magazine that works in it. Of course, my original thought is, where the F is the magazine that came with the gun? I don't know. Somewhere. So he said, well, and the guy says, well, I know, Kel-Tec made them for the Glocks. He said, but the Glocks don't work in this one, right? And me being in the business for a long time, when Kel-Tec first came out with the sub 2000s, they made them for the Glock 9mm. They made them for Sig, so they were compatible with Glock mags. Then they made another one that was compatible with a Sig 226 mag. They made another one that was compatible with a Beretta mag, M90, M92 or M9 Beretta, right? And then they made another one that was compatible with at the time, the Smith & Wesson 5906. You're like, what? Yeah. Because at the time, back in the 90s, from the late 90s, right around the 2000 time frame, there was a kind of a contention in American law enforcement as to where they were going to go. Smith & Wesson had the 5906 and the 59 series that they were pushing really hard, right? And then, of course, you had SIG that was pushing the 226 to state troopers and so on and so forth. And who was using the M9 Beretta? The Army, every American serviceman's using the Beretta, right? And at the time, if you remember, LAPD and the LA Sheriff's Department were carrying Berettas, which was a BFD, right? It was a big deal. And then, of course, you had the Glocks. So Kel-Tec was kind of hedging its bets. They said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make them for all those different magazines, and we'll see which one wins. Well, who won? Glock, right? Glock won. But there's still all these other Berettas or these Kel-Tec sub 2000s out there, right? Some of them for SIGs, some of them for Smiths, some of them for Berettas, and so forth. Well, I knew that this gun wasn't for, because I've got two sub 2000. I knew it wasn't for a Glock mag. But I looked at it, and unfortunately, Kel-Tec did not stamp or print on the gun what magazines were supposed to go in it. For SIG pattern, for Beretta pattern, for Smith pattern, or whatever. So we're looking at it. We're trying to figure it out. I flip it over. I take my flashlight. I shine it down in the mag well. Guess what's missing? The magazine catch.
Oh, that's not
good. The mag catch is missing. So I had my Surefire light and I flipped it over and I showed the owner because he hadn't noticed yet. And I said, look right there. I said, so the answer to our question is, it doesn't matter what magazines this is supposed to take because the owner has removed the magazine catch. So it doesn't matter what mag you put in it, it won't stay. And he's like, well, that's great. And I said, there you go. And you say, what does this have to do with anything? Like I said, I feel bad for gun manufacturers because people will call Kel-Tec and say, you're stupid. Magazines are falling out. My gun. Maybe because you screwed around, disassembled it, didn't put it back together right, and didn't put the mag catch back in. Is that important?
No.
There aren't supposed to be pieces left over.
Yeah, I wondered why that piece was there. I just thought it was
Put a
trash.
gun back together and there's still pieces on the table. I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to say you probably did it wrong. So,
I think you should, if there are pieces left over, they clearly just need to be disposed because they were unnecessary. And I don't know why the manufacturer put them there.
Most manufacturers
don't
put guns together with spare parts. Well, there's just extra parts in there. Yeah, no big deal. So the end of that story is this. So obviously it's black and green. It's a two-tone. Oh, and of course I put the shocker on it, the shocker template. Thank you to our student of the gun grad program member who sent me the shocker vinyl templates. The parts that are black are just black, but the parts that are green are World War II olive drab green from Duracoat. So there you go. Because obviously when I got that thing put back together, it was various shades of everything, gray and black. And
was it 50 Shades of Gray?
I'm trying to make this thing stand up, but I know what it's going to do. As soon as I let go, it's going to fall. So there you go. So the NAC-9 from Century Arms tricked out with World War II olive drab green from our buddies at Duracoat. You can do it too. DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. All right, let's move on. Our buddies at Crossbreed Holsters want you to be dangerous on demand. Actually carry your gun. What a novel idea. Mm-hmm. Carry your gun on your body. If you go to crossbreedholsters.com, use the promotional code SOTG, then, well, you're saving some money, getting a good holster, and you can be dangerous on demand and not be a mongoloid, like we're going to talk about tomorrow, who left his gun in his car or left his gun in his pack or left his gun in his wherever, but not on him. So there you go. Brownells at brownells.com. Like I said, for that project, I got the magazines from Brownells. I got the Crossfire, the Vortex Crossfire Optic from Brownells. And, Brownells also sells the SB Tactical braces, too. So if you're looking for a brace, you can get those. They actually used to sell the NAC-9, but I think last time I checked, they were completely out of stock on them. And you say, well, when are they going to be back in stock?
That's a great question.
I don't know. Oh, you make me laugh. Bring a little tear to my eye. Well, I went to this gun thing, and there weren't any guns in stock, and I don't know what. Hello. Actually, but one of the things I discovered the other day when I did visit my local gun shop was that right now the gun sales have tapered off because people have finally figured out that ammunition is hard to find and expensive. They're like, well, I don't know why I should buy a new gun when it's going to cost me $100 for 2 boxes of ammo. Yeah, no kidding. So gun sales have kind of leveled. And as long as, dear God, if we can keep those criminals in D.C., if we can get them to shut their mouths for a month, if we can get the criminals at the AFT and the criminals who are hiding behind the barbed wire fences in D.C., if we get them to just shut their mouths for a month, gun prices will level off and ammo prices will level off. But every time those imbeciles go in front of a microphone and are like, derp, derp, gun control, derp, derp, restrictions, derp, derp, confiscation, prices go back up. All right. But check out Brownells, brownells.com. Sign up to their newsletter. It's Monday. And what does that mean? That means you need to close that hole underneath your nose and listen louder.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh man, I tell you what, how did you guys, if you guys are in the grad program, how did you enjoy? Did you enjoy the bootleg, the special bootleg Student of the Gun exclusive piece of music that we played for you on Friday? If you didn't, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not giving you your money back, so forget it. That was a freebie. So you didn't pay anything for that. That was the freebie. You paid nothing for that. Oh, man. I've got a whole entire diatribe. Somebody just mentioned something in the Student of the Gun Facebook comments about painting guns and Duracoating guns to look like super soakers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an entire diatribe about orange tips and orange this is an orange that's, and how it is absolutely wrong and how the thought process is criminal. But we don't have time for that today. So remind me about that. All right, let us go to the main topic of the day. Finally, some light in the darkness. And this is actually shocking because it was a 9-0 vote. And so that means even the communist, fascist, Democrat, scumbag, socialist justices that Comrade Barry stuck in there on us, even those scumbags and the turncoat traitor, piece of human filth, John Roberts, even that scumbag couldn't vote against it. It's shocking. Jared, go ahead and read us the story.
Says Supreme Court rules warrantless home gun confiscation is unconstitutional in 9-0 vote. The Supreme Court ruled Monday that warrantless gun confiscation for Americans' homes is unconstitutional, voting unanimously on the side of Rhode Island man whose firearms were taken by law enforcement without a warrant after his wife expressed concerns that he might hurt himself. So, quote unquote, red flag law.
Yep, red flag laws.
According to Caniglia versus Strom, a lower court had previously determined that police confiscated the guns without a warrant fell under the Fourth Amendment's community caretaking exemption, but a 9-0 vote from the nation's top court struck down that ruling. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the unanimous opinion for the Supreme Court, stating that law enforcement can execute many civil tasks in modern society. Civic, sorry, not civil. But there is not an open-ended license to perform them anywhere. The very core of the Fourth Amendment, Thomas wrote, is the right of a man to retreat into his own home and there be free from unreasonable search and seizure. Some exceptions to the Fourth Amendment do exist, including exigent circumstances. I thought they were going to give us more, but it's only that one.
For instance,
Forbes, the popular French magazine.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if an officer sees an individual about to shoot another person through the window of a home, that officer has the right to enter the home to prevent the attack.
Yeah. I learned about that when I was in the police academy. There are exemptions to the like, for instance, if a police officer witnesses a crime in progress, all right, if a police officer is in pursuit of a suspect who the police officer saw commit the crime, right? So I see a guy jack somebody and, knock an old lady down, grab her purse, right? And he takes off running, and I take off running after him. And he runs into his house and slams the door and says, "Ha, tag!" Freeze tag. I'm on base. I'm on home base. You can't come in. I win. I actually had that when I was a cop. I was behind someone, turned my lights on to execute a stop, and they pulled into their driveway, got out of their car, ran up and got on their porch and said, "I'm at my home. You can't touch me." I was like, are we in fourth grade? So you think that's how that works? Like I initiated a traffic stop and you decided not to stop, and it said to drive into your driveway, run up on your porch, touch your front door and say, "I'm home. You can't touch me. Supreme Court says you can't touch me." I said, okay, you're not correct. Be sure when you come to court that you use the "I was on my porch" excuse when you talk to the judge. I got in my car, ran up, and it touched my porch.
I would love to hear that.
Actually happened to me. You're like, no, people aren't that stupid. Oh, but they are. But the Fourth Amendment, now we've talked about this previously, and this is amazing because what this does, you say, well, it doesn't matter because this is only Rhode Island. Wrong answer. What's the P word, Jared?
Prostitute?
No, the other P word.
Probability.
No. Precedent. You're just being dumb. You're just being dumb, right? Precedent.
No, I really thought you were talking about a prostitute.
No, every state, every communist-run cesspool now, Colorado, Maryland, whatever. If your state in the last 10 years passed a quote red flag law to stop people from hurting themselves in the So what we're going to do is we're going to give the Stasi, we're going to give the Gestapo the authority to just bust down people's doors without warrants because there might be a gun inside. And we want that, right? In America, we want the state. You know what's insane, Jared? The exact same Democrat-run states that have their citizens running around burning the cities down because the police they're all systemically racist and rah, 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 rah. Those are the same states that think that the people don't have a problem with red flag laws. It's like, so hang on a second there, Jack. So on one hand, you're telling me the police are all corrupt and racist. Okay. And we need to give them the authority to enter people's homes without a warrant and seize their property. What? How do those things jive?
The thing that annoys me the most about these quote-unquote red flag laws is that it gives, if somebody calls to report a red flag law, or to report somebody that they believe is going to hurt themselves, then that is the highest level of selfishness. If you know the person's possibly going to hurt themselves, then go help them. Don't push that responsibility off on somebody else.
No, it's the police's job to take care of it. Don't you know?
It's stop being selfish.
Well,
go take care of your own community.
Or first of all, the whole suicide thing is a complete and total lie because they're not executing the warrant against the person. They're executing the warrant against an object.
Right.
So they go in and they're like, well, your ex-wife or your grandma or your aunt or whatever, or Susie on the street thinks that you're suicidal. So we're going to take all your personal property, your guns, your lawfully owned property. We're going to take those away from you. And then we're going to leave. So if the person actually is suicidal, let's just say they are, right? Let's just go devil's advocate here and say that person is actually suicidal. They want to kill themselves.
That'll fix
so you
it.
kick down their door, take all their guns, and leave. Are they not still? Well, now that we took away all their guns, they won't be able to kill themselves because, as we know, suicide never began on planet Earth until the dastardly Chinese invented gunpowder. Before the Chinese invented gunpowder, there was no suicide on planet Earth. This is when you say, stop, Paul, you're an idiot. Of course there was. Judas hung himself from a tree. Cleopatra killed herself with an asp. Not a baton, but like actually a snake thing. There's been all kinds of like historical suicides before the invention of gunpowder. What? You mean that humans were committing suicide before the invention of gunpowder? Before the invention of the firearm? Yeah. Then how does taking this supposed suicidal person's guns away from them stop them from killing themselves? Well, they won't be able to kill themselves with a gun. So what you're saying is, by your logic, if that person hangs themselves in their basement, then it's okay. If that person takes a bottle full of pills or slits their wrists with a freaking steak knife, that's okay because they didn't use a gun. So what you're saying is you don't give two Cacas, I saved myself. You don't give two big fat turds whether they kill themselves or not, as long as they don't use a gun, because these red flag laws have nothing to do with safety. They have everything to do with being roundabout backdoor gun control. That's what it is. If you really believe the person, or you're like, well, they're not just a danger to themselves, they're a danger to others. Okay, file charges. That's how it works in America. If you think someone is planning to commit a crime, then you gather evidence, you file charges, you get a warrant, and you arrest them. Well, we don't have enough information to actually get a warrant. We don't have enough. Oh, so you don't have enough information to file charges or get a warrant, so you're just going to take their property. And that's okay. Jared, when we were with Dr. fill in the blank at the when I got my Defender of Liberty, or my Dr.
Okay.
John, right? Our super fan.
Yeah.
Program member. What's his name?
Yep. So I don't know what your point is. So what are you trying to get at?
The doctor. What's his name? We were at the conference and we talked to
I don't know what you're talking about. And it doesn't matter.
Enumerated how many.
Yeah, there you go.
He enumerated. I want to give him credit. Is what I'm trying to do, Jared.
Oh, you're talking about the John Dean who spoke.
Thank you.
Yeah. That if you would have got to the point of what you were talking about, it would have helped me a little bit more.
So Dr. John Dean, when we were in Arizona at the Second Amendment Foundation event, he said, he enumerated, he said, red flag laws don't just violate the Fourth Amendment. They don't just violate the Sixth or Second Amendment. And he gave a real quick talk, a real quick speech about red flag laws violate these amendments. And I think it was 6. It was definitely the first, definitely the second, definitely the fourth. Trial by jury. I mean, essentially, what the court said is that these warrantless searches and seizures for firearms violate Amendment 4. Now, they could have said they violate Amendment 2.
John says Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment, First Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Seventh Amendment, and Eighth Amendment.
Yep. Well, how does it violate the First Amendment, Paul? That's just stupid. Okay, why are they taking guns? Are they taking your guns because of something you did? Did you commit a crime? Well, no, this is like Minority Report. It's pre-crime. We're getting your guns away from you before you can commit a crime. Why? Well, because someone heard you say something, or someone saw a post you wrote on Facebook, and Karen, your neighbor, didn't like it. So Karen called 1-800-TURN-IN-YOUR-NEIGHBOR and said, my neighbor is a gun person, and he hates Obama, and he thinks that, and he said, come and take it. So you can't say certain things, because if you say things that the state doesn't like, the state will come and take your property. That's how it works in America. So the state gets to decide what things you're allowed to say and what things you're not allowed to say. You say, well, if you threaten to kill someone, then that's a crime. Yeah. And what do you do when someone commits a crime? You file charges, you get a warrant, and then you go arrest them. But you see, we don't, that would require a police officer swearing and actually investigating and that's hard. That takes a long time. We can't wait for due process of law. We can't wait for due process of law. So fornicate it. Just go take their guns. That is not a representative republic. That's freaking oppression. That's tyranny. Well, but we don't like guns. So my question has always been to all of you psycho anti-gun people who are not listening to me. No, actually, there are some of them listening to us, Jared.
Yeah.
There are They're like, I'm going to catch this guy saying something he shouldn't. I haven't said that in a long time, have I?
Mm-mm.
I know you guys are out there listening, thinking you're going to catch me saying something that I shouldn't say. But the reality of the situation is there is nothing that I shouldn't say. There are only some things I choose not to. So if you're sitting out there waiting for me to slip up, you're like, aha, I got you now. You're going to be sadly disappointed. So, ladies and gentlemen, my big question for all of you people who think that red flag laws are okay or justified under some circumstances or whatever, we already have a system of law. We already have due process. We already have checks and balances. We have for a long time. We had them forever, as long as we've had a country. And they worked out just fine until some left-wing fascist scumbag Democrats figured out that they needed to find a way around this Constitution thing keeps this due process law that gets in our way. And we don't like that. So we'll find a way around it. We'll find a way to take away things from people that we don't like, to demonize firearms. Are you putting is the firearm going on trial or is the human going on trial? Are we going to drag the Remington 870 up before a judge and put it on trial and lock the Remington 870 away? No. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Where does it end? When you give the government, when you allow them to create policies and procedures that skirt and go around the Constitution, when do they stop? Oh, just with guns. It's just with guns. Really? You believe that? Ladies and gentlemen, and for all those people out there like, well, I don't like guns. What you should know is your gun-owning neighbor is the guy who's actually keeping the government at bay, keeping them from doing whatever it is they feel like doing in the interest of health and safety or security or whatever. So I suppose we're right about time, aren't we, Zach?
Yeah, pretty close.
All right, so I applaud. I'm actually kind of in shock that even we've been talking about this for how long, Jared? Ever since this came out. Ever since this came out, these red flag laws, I immediately came to this microphone and I said, here's the reasons why this is illegal, unconstitutional, and unenforceable. Boom, 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 boom. It only took the Supreme Court 3 years to figure it out. Can we send Dan Crenshaw a copy of this? Remember Dan Crenshaw? Dan Crenshaw is an American patriot, and he's a defender of liberty. No, he's not. Dan Crenshaw went out and publicly endorsed red flag laws, and we called him on it, and I wrote him a letter. And you know that scumbag's office never responded? I did the whole correct letter, addressed everything, physical letter, stamp, sent it to his office in D.C. Those scumbags never responded to it. They ignored it. So all of your well-meaning politicians who have endorsed red flag, you might want to hip them to this. Say, hey, did you see what the Supreme Court said? That you're actually absolutely wrong. And your opinion on this red flag law is 100% in contradiction to the representative republic in which we live. And somebody like Dan Crenshaw, who puts a capital R behind his name, should have known better. How dare you? How dare you? He is an American patriot and a disabled veteran. And anything he says, you just have to agree with it because of that. No, I don't. Because Student of the Gun is a veteran-owned business. Did you know that? Yes, it is. Student of the Gun is I'm not a disabled veteran because that's a freaking label that I will never endorse. I think that's crap, quite frankly. If you're living and breathing and moving around, don't be calling yourself disabled. That's just another aside. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to us as a country. Now, here's what's going to happen, sadly. What's going to happen is Gun Owners of America and probably Second Amendment Foundation, they're going to, because you can forget about that other three-letter organization. But the Second Amendment Foundation is going to have to go forward, and all these states that have red flag laws, and they're going to have to file suits in every one of those states and say, hey, Colorado, Massachusetts, whatever, that statute violates the Constitution, and here is the unanimous opinion from the Supreme Court that says so. And what they will have to do is force those state Supreme Courts to either A, ignore the Supreme Court, which they can't do. That's the thing, is they're like, we don't care what Supreme Court says. Here in Massachusetts, we do what we want. No, you can't do that, because if you ignore Supreme Court precedent, then that means every other decision can be ignored as well. Can we do that, Jared? Hey, I'm all for anarchy, quite frankly.
Isn't that what the 10th Amendment says?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, the 10th Amendment says if it's in the Constitution specifically, then we have to follow it. And if it's not, then we don't. But guess what? Amendment 4 and 2 and 1 and 5 are all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's going to take is some money and some effort on the part of the Second Amendment Foundation. And they're going to have to, all these states that have red flag laws, they're going to have to file suit. And eventually it'll drag through the mud of the, it'll drag through the sludge and the tar and get to the court, and they'll have to address it. Or they can ignore it, and then it'll be taken to a district court, a federal district court. And then the federal district court will spank the state Supreme Court and say, hey, you failed in your duty to acknowledge this. So, or you could just put a daggum bayonet on the end of your rifle and fix all this crap right now. That'd be quicker, but whatever. All right, what are we going to talk about on Wednesday? Wednesday. Bear attack. Nuh-uh. Do bear attacks still happen? Because I read an article on outdoorpogue.com where a guy said that never actually happens. I don't know. Maybe the story is a lie. It could be a complete fabrication. And 3 things that you should buy before you buy a new gun. What? Yeah. We're going to talk about that and any other thing we feel like talking about.
We do have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Yes, indeed.
All right. What's the question?
What's it? What's the best slug for anti-material use in a 12 gauge? That's from Andrew R.
A Foster slug should get the job done, or you could use one of those Sabo slugs, 12-gauge Sabo slug. So either one. Foster, a 12-gauge Foster slug is 1.25 ounces. That's a lot of lead flying down range. Or a Sabo. I believe I'm. when you say that, SABOT. Jared, have you ever heard anyone pronounce that from the South?
No.
They call them sabot slugs.
Sabot slugs.
You got any of them sabot slugs for deer hunting? Sometimes you do. But either one will do you just fine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cat in the Hat and That Be That. Please join us on Wednesday. We're going to talk about 3 things you should buy before you should buy another gun. And do bear attacks still actually happen? I don't know, but we'll find out on Wednesday. Until then, remember, you are a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right, that was episode number 1, everybody. Are we going to take a quick little break and then come back with the next
Jared's
one?
already gone.
I noticed he's gone. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, we're going to, well, no, let's just go ahead and start the show without him.
5,
Yeah.
10,
We're gonna
30.
Well, I don't know. Jared left. He must have to go to the bathroom or something. So
Let's say 10 minutes then.
10:45. At 10:45, we will begin again with Wednesday's episode.
All right, guys, we'll be back at approximately 10:45. Thank you very much, and see you soon. All right, we are back. And Dad should probably turn that off. 1 second. Let's go ahead and mute him real quick. And I'll continue to talk and see if he turns off his music. Hopefully he will. Yep, Matt, you had bad timing. Turn off your music?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, how's it going?
All right. There we go. There I am. All right. So, where's your brother?
He sent a poop emoji in Slack. So
He sent a poop emoji in Slack.
I have
Okay.
one broad guess. Oh, look at this. I'm assuming this is. Apparently, they're giving away pizza today over in the office.
Oh, are they? Is it a pizza day at the office?
Yeah.
Oh, bless their hearts.
Too bad I will be in Salt Lake between the time hours of 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are your workouts going?
Oh, they're going great. Mostly great. My right calf sucks. It's a bad muscle. It just
Bad
doesn't
muscle.
work very well. It's like I'll stretch, I'll do like leg workouts, and like 80% of the time after I go to the gym, my right calf is just like today I'm limping. For whatever reason, my right calf just sucks ass. But besides that, it's going well.
Well, good. So were you here for Jared's conversation about how we've had a bunch of RSVPs?
No, we haven't. I wasn't here for that part.
Yeah.
Remember, we're still in the public, live to the public.
Yeah, I'm not saying people's specific names or anything like that.
Well, I wasn't sure if what it is public.
Well, we sent it out to the grad program. We invited grad program people.
Correct. But we're in public.
Well, if they're in the public and they're wondering what we're talking about, they would know if they were a grad program member. So there you go.
That's not how that works. But okay, yeah, sure. Got it.
Yeah.
Just reminding
I mean, I can tell you, we invited the grad program member to come to an event in Wyoming on Memorial Day weekend. And if you were in the grad program, you would have gotten an invitation. That's the end of that story.
Okay.
Speaking of stories, you guys should be receiving, if you haven't gotten it yet, check your mail today. The Patriot Fire Team Mission Planner book.
Oh yeah, no, those. I think I sent those out on Monday. So
those went out on Monday. So if you haven't got yours yet, watch your mail. You should be getting them.
Yeah. By the way, I'll throw this out there to all of our people who are allowed to come.
All of our peeps.
Yeah. If you need camping equipment or don't have any camping equipment for whatever reason, or want new camping equipment, currently right now on ReadyMan.com they have a sale on ReadyMan on camping stuff.
How quick can they get that?
I can if I send it priority, they should definitely get it within a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that. There's actually a tent.
Yeah.
And a whoopee.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we're just killing time right now, so let's see what exactly is in it.
Tent and a whoopee.
It's a 1 to 2 person tent, depending on how much you like the person.
How much? Depending on how close you want to be to the other person.
Yeah. A tube of burn-free burn gel, 6 of their little campfire skewers, some of the Fiber Light tinder, a wilderness survival card, a 4-in-1 EDC survival tool, which has a whistle and a fire starter that are camping prevalent.
Right. A whistle and a ball and a whip. That cracks.
And then a whoopee, as Dad said, okay, a poncho liner, and a Lux Pro Tac Pen 1040 LED flashlight. Yay!
Well, good.
And that's for a great deal, if you ask me.
Do.
Those guys at Ready Man, they know what they're doing. They're smart guys.
That's all right. Those Ready Man guys are.
Hell yeah.
They're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy one of those single person tents from Ready Man.
You are?
Maybe.
For real?
Maybe.
Are you coming?
Yes.
All right. You know, we have a teepee tent that's big enough for all of us.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not staying in pup tents. I bought a brand new tent,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and it's one of the big Sportsman's Guide teepees.
Oh,
It's rated for 6 people.
no shiznit. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, it's
Goki,
rated for 6 people.
question, is Goki going to be out there with us?
No,
Oh,
I'm not going to spend all day wondering where the dog is.
but he's a good boy.
Just let him run around the island
Exactly.
like a lunatic
Just let him run
and
around.
wonder where he's at.
He'll be fine. Probably.
Probably.
Well, we are talking about bears on this episode, so that is a thing.
Bears.
Oh, he would. Okay, I'm going to make...
He'd bark at a bear.
I'm going to make a statement right now. Goki could outrun a bear.
He could outrun a bear for
Yeah.
sure.
So
He could outrun a lot of stuff. He can run
Yeah.
fast. He runs like a greyhound.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he's fast. That'd be interesting, though. See what Goki would do with a bear. I mean, if he turned tail and sprinted
he
away
would bark
from
at it and run away.
Yeah, but see, if he turned tail and sprinted away from a deer, there's no way he's getting too close to a bear.
No.
He might bring back food for us. Go get some groundhogs or moles or whatever. Has he ever caught anything?
I don't know. I don't know if he's ever actually caught anything.
I don't think Goki's ever killed something.
Yeah, I don't think he is. Kira was a killer.
Oh,
Bless
yeah,
her.
Kira. I think she got, like, what, 3 rabbits and a bird?
Yeah, she was a killer.
Oh, yeah. And then
Bless her.
Recon was fucking walking around with the rabbit head in his mouth. It's a
Erp.
ball. It's fluffy and round. It's a ball. Oh, that dog was...
Oh, when we go live, make sure that we remind people that Monday we're going to be dark. Monday's the holiday, so it's going to be a dark day.
Oh. Do we want to go full dark or we want to do a best of?
It's up to you. You have to produce it.
I'll think about it. I got a week to think on it. Just want to say there will not be a new episode to give
Okay.
us that plausible deniability if I do decide to do a best of or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So who's listening right now that is going to be there? Ben already said he's going to be there. I'm betting that
Wait.
Justin's not going to be there.
What?
What? Or is
Who's
he
not going to be there?
Justin, because he's got the whole driving thing. Granted, I don't really know his schedule, so.
No, he's going to be there. Him
Oh,
and
yeah.
Damon and Crystal are all going to be there.
Oh, sweet. Good to see you there. So that's 4 of the people that I know.
And Don Gregg's going to be there with his son.
6.
He said he was going to.
Cool. Okay, cool. Good to see Justin there.
Which Ben is going to be there?
Voltmer.
Voltmer.
Voltmer confirmed that he will be there. But will he be square? We'll
I
find
don't
out.
know. You know, there's still cattle on the freaking rifle range.
Bastards.
I know. I haven't been able to shoot rifles. I mean, I can shoot it out in the BLM, but there's no target set up there.
I should bring my guns because I have not shot either of my defense guns in like 7 months.
Yeah, you absolutely should. And you need to either crap or get off the pot with that 22. You've had it for 3 or 4 months.
I know.
Either do it or do not.
There is no try.
That's right. Oh, speaking of which, I need to send an email to.
Should they bring a rifle, Dad?
They can bring whatever they want.
We will be out in the BLM
There,
typically, right?
there won't be any shooting on the island.
Yeah.
But that we can go out into the BLM and shoot all we want.
You can walk or hike. Or, hike
Can't
or
really
drive.
walk to the BLM.
Oh, really?
No, because well, I mean, you could if you wanted to walk like literally miles. Because remember, Treasure Island is actually surrounded by private property.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Treasure Island is surrounded by private property.
Hey, what if we show up to Treasure Island and there's like 27 other people camping there?
It won't be, but it's a big island.
Okay. Because it is Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, I know. There probably will be other people there, but I'm also it's you could put 100 tents on Treasure Island if you wanted to.
I don't. I have no recollection of how large it is.
Yeah, there won't be 100.
Treasure Island, where you found the bobcat puppy.
Yeah, going to it was on the other side.
Or
Bobcat
kitten, or whatever.
Bobcat
Cub.
puppy.
Yeah, it's on the other side, but yeah. Oh,
Bobcats
so
have
cute,
puppies?
though. Yes, it was cute. And
We're going to be releasing a
Mom would kill us.
product called the Bobcat. pretty
Bobcat
soon.
puppy.
Is it actually just a pet bobcat for you to keep?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, well, some things happen.
It's a bobcat! Attack my wife! A bobcat!
You know what they say about bobcats? They'll attack the wife. Post. I'm sorry, we're out of service. And by out of service, I mean we're out of gas because people are dumb. Yeah, who here's gotten the Liberty Letter and read the entire thing and told me how much they love me? Should be everybody.
So Ben will be at the Memorial Day camp as well.
Yeah,
that's what Zach just said.
Sweet.
So, is anyone else a little tired of Parler being annoying?
I had to uninstall it, and I haven't reinstalled it yet because I tried to update it without uninstalling it, and it was not stirring the Kool-Aid. So I was like, well,
every single time I want to sign into Parler, especially regardless of if it's on a new device or an old device, I have to sign in, then do a CAPTCHA, then do a text verification. Every single time.
But it's super secure.
I don't care. It's too secure, apparently.
Well, Fornication Book just forced this big update. I've been ignoring it. It's like, would you like to update? No. Would you like to update? No. Would you like to update? No. And then today they're like, you have to, or you can't use it.
Yeah, I noticed that the page is all different now. And they changed it now. It's like, if you want to interact with something, you have to commit. Back in the old days, I could just hop onto the Student of the Gun Facebook, interact with Student of the Gun, and then do everything else as myself. Now we have to be signed in as one or the other.
Exactly. I have to do the same thing now. If I want to post, they're like, and what's worse is, obviously I post stuff on the Facebook page. Jared does, and Zach does, and I do.
Yeah.
But
because people on there.
So now, if you have to, when I'm done posting, I have to deliberately sign out of the Student of the Gun, or it leaves me signed in. And so every notification that the Student of the Gun account
goes to your personal,
goes to my, and I don't want 187 notifications a day. I don't need it, don't want it. And you know what's weird, Jared, and you'll probably be able to figure this out or tell me why this is. So they forced the update.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all of these old messages that went to the Student of the Gun account popped up. Messages from weeks ago as new messages. Like, you have 19 unviewed messages. I'm like, what the F? So I go in there, and there are these messages that are weeks old that weren't listed before. And now all of a sudden they appeared.
I don't know.
And of course, a lot of them are from, I'm sorry, but if you're in Pakistan or India and you're going to send me a freaking message in Pashto or whatever, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not answering it.
I say, yeah. You can turn off you can change notification settings so you don't receive that shit in your personal Facebook thing.
People whose Facebook name is symbol, asterisk, $, schwa. Yeah, bro. Not today, ISIS.
I used to say not today, ISIS. And then when I became friends with Wally, all his family and friends friended me too. And I'm like, now I don't know. I don't know how to. I just got to text Wally, do you know this person?
Hey, do you know this person? Or is this ISIS?
Okay, cool.
Something I figured out is anyone whose username starts with it's,
speaking of which,
Rakapa Moto, immediately decline. Don't even look at the profile. Don't even look at the form.
The
they
not
filled
today
out.
ISIS thing has nothing to do with ISIS. It's all about slut spam. The chick that sends you chat live now.
Oh, that's a fun thing I got last night.
Slut spam?
So, kind of, yes. Although they wanted me to be the slut. So I got a DM that was like, "Hey, are you looking to make $500 extra a week?" And I was like, "Let's see where this goes." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And basically, it was a lonely 40-year-old single housewife who was looking to have a sugar baby. And I was like, yeah, no.
You better come up with more than $500 a week if you want me to be your sugar baby.
500 a week or a month? Because a week I might be willing to do it.
I think she said, I think it was a week.
Oh, well, there you go. 500 a week's righteous bucks, man. How many hours I got to put in for that?
Well,
what's my time commitment?
I don't know. How long does an Instagram model take to freaking update their profile?
All right, we probably should move on to Wednesday's episode.
We can do whatever we want. It's our show.
Oh, we probably should.
All right. Boom. All right. Pull. And Dan, Jared, are you both ready?
Yeah.
All right. Then Dad, go ahead and start us off.
Food on a rubber raft. All right.
I do the countdown. In 3, 2.
Bear attack. This says in your title of your show, bear attack, but I don't think that's true because I read an article on was it
OutdoorOnline.com.
outdoordouchebags.com, douchebagsoutdoor.com, and it said that never happens and never has happened, and if you think it happens, you're paranoid. So apparently, whoever wrote the story is paranoid and delusional, and it didn't actually happen. But we'll dive into it just in case. All right, just in case. 3 things that you should buy before you buy a new gun. And we might get to the some of you guys, your hearts will be broken to find out that Target is going to stop selling Pokemon cards. And we're going to tell you why, if we have time. In the meantime, listen up.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, a bit of administrative work to get out of the way, an administrative note. This coming Monday is going to be Memorial Day. We will not have a new episode. Now, Zach, the producer, has not decided whether or not he's going to do a best of or just go dark.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
That's right. I just say we just go dark. And if they want to listen to a best of, they have 1,056 other episodes that they can listen to.
Yeah, who are we to tell you what's best for you?
That's right. That's right. So you can do that. You can do that. And so what we're going to do is we'll do today's show, which obviously you're listening to, Thursday and Friday bonus hours. Then we'll be dark on Monday, and then we'll come back on next Wednesday with a new show. So there you go. Plan your month, your week around that. How's that sound? Oh, let's see. I guess we could just jump right into the Brownells bullet points if that's cool with you guys.
No, but you didn't let people know about the Q&A.
Oh.
And you didn't tell them to ask their questions.
All right. Well, if you're watching and listening live, ask a question if you want to. And if we think it will benefit the other members of the audience, then we will address it during the show.
Probably, if you're lucky, if we like you.
Probably. Oh, I got a question for you guys. I have a question. Maybe
no,
maybe you have.
You're not. No, you're not allowed to ask questions.
Oh. Have you guys, all of you audiobook geeks, all you freaks and geeks out there who are like, your buddy Nick Orr's writing these books, but I don't read books. I do audiobooks. I only do audiobooks. All right. Nick Orr released his latest book, Operation Diomedes, in the Operator series. He released it on Audible, and we've shared the link with you guys multiple times. So, what do you think? Oh, I don't know. Exactly. I talked actually a bit of news. I talked to Nick yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember which. And he has completed book 4 in the series. Book 4 is actually being proofed right now, and he has started writing book 5. So if you're over there thinking, I haven't finished book 1 yet, get on it, Sparky. Get on it, man. It's a good series. All right. What is up with boom, 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 boom? Did we bump in the Brownells music yet or not?
Not yet, no.
All right. Well, let's bump it in. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, indeed. Brownell's Bullet Points. And it's brought to you by McDonald's, home of the Whopper. No. That's not even it at all. What are you talking about? There's no Whoppers at McDonald's now. It's brought to you by Brownells. Who else would it be brought to you by? I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned there are guns available. I get the emails. I get the e-blasts and the notifications. I don't think I get stuff from Joe Bob Outfitters. You're like, what? Yeah. I get stuff from Joe Bob Outfitters, from Extreme Tactical, from Classic, from PSA, from PA, from Brownells, from Midway. I get stuff from everybody. So I've been browsing around and looking at this different stuff. And the price of black rifles has come way down. The price of black rifles now are pretty much where they were 2 years ago. Well, maybe not 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago we were in this huge Trump slump and they were giving stuff away. But you can get a fully tricked out AR pistol now for like $8.99. Whereas a year ago you had to back order it and pay $1,200. So the guns are there. Now ammo is not cheap. Okay. You're like, well, yeah, ammo's. What should you get before you buy another gun? Well, I'm going to tell you. First and foremost, do you have a handgun? You say, yes, I have a handgun. All right. Well, what are you going to do with that handgun? If you've got a G-lock, if you have a G-lock or a Shield or a CZ P10 Charlie. Now, if you've got a Glock 9mm, if you have a Glock, well, it's 940, 357, whatever. If you have the standard 9 style frame, a 17 style frame, which could be a 22, fill in the blank, you guys understand. If you have one of the little compact locks, like the 42s or 43s or 43 X-rays, or a 48, we have night vision, student of the gun, accurate sights for that gun. If I had a stock Glock or a stock Shield or a P10 Charlie, the CZ, if I had one of those and it had stock sights on it, what I would put is they're not that expensive. They're well thought out. They're tritium. They're a tritium with a super bright polymer. It's not opaque. It's translucent. That means light transmits through it. So I would do that before I bought another gun. If you've got a gun that has stock factory sights on it, or if you have a gun that has the plastic white 3-dot sights on it, or the plastic red 3-dot sights on it, or whatever, that's Baby Town Frolic. Okay. That's like kindergarten stuff. That's Baby Town Frolic. Get some good sights. Get some good sights for your gun before you focus on buying another gun. Put good sights on the one that you've got. And that leads me right into my next discussion, which is if you have a pistol caliber carbine or a rifle caliber carbine or a rifle caliber pistol or an RCP or just a regular old freaking rifle. Now is the time to slap a mini red dot on it. I don't know how close of attention you guys have been paying to the optics market lately, but here's what I'm going to tell you. There are a lot of really good quality optics that have come down in price, basically because people haven't been focusing on that. They've been putting all their focus other places. And also, and this is, this is always an interesting, it's kind of like the Americans always want something new and improved, right? New and improved Tide. It's the new and improved Tide syndrome. Yeah. That's when you say, well, what was wrong with the original one? Oh, the original one's not new and improved. Are there optics that are not the newest model that are still perfectly fine? Yes. And what happens quite often is these companies, because Americans are spastic mongoloids and always got to have the new thing. So what do the companies do? What do they have to do? They're like, well, we've got to play to our audience, so we'll come out with a new whatever, version 2, version 3, version 7, whatever. And if you're somebody like Brownells, you say, well, yeah, but so they came out with a version 3. We've got all these version 2s on the shelves. They're perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're not the new model. So what do? 9 times out of 10, they put them on sale. And you're like, well, yeah, but I don't want that one. I want the new one. Okay, if you absolutely have to have the new one because that'll make you look cool in front of your buddies or whatever. Now, are there improvements that they make to certain things? Yeah, sure, there are. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have a red dot on your RCP or PCP or CPM or whatever, whatever 3-letter acronym you want to call your GAT, if you don't have one, Brownells probably has a red dot on sale. You're like, probably has or does have? Okay, they do. All right, they do. The answer is they do. I saw a couple of red dots, mini red dots, that drop below 200, and I'm not talking about the that weird garbage crap that they sell at Walmart for $49. I'm talking about actual good optics. Yeah, if I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a snob, but if you go to Walmart and buy one of those things in a clamshell pack for $49, you're like, I got a red dot at Walmart for $49. And I hope you're going to put it on an airsoft gun. Because if you put it on a real gun, it's probably not going to last very long. Hey, Jared, do we know anybody at Swamp Fox Optics?
I don't think so.
All right. The Crossfire.
Swamp Fox Optics.
All right. Yesterday, on Monday, I talked to you guys about the NAC 9, and I told you that I went to Brownells and I bought a Vortex Crossfire, and I put it on there. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. They
actually have one right now that's only $149. I think they were
nice.
Around $199 when I got mine. This Swamp Fox Optics, somebody that we know is either working with them or something.
Why do you say that?
Because recently somebody wrote something or published something or about them. The Spark from Vortex is only $199 at Brownells right now. You're like, whoa, is that good? Yeah, they're good. Vortex Optics have a really good reputation, and they have for a long time. Obviously, the Hollow Suns, you're like, I don't like Hollow Sun. If you don't like it, I don't care. The fact is, I've used about 3 or 4 Hollow Sun optics over the period of the last 5 years or so, and never had a problem with any of them. Most of these things, their battery life is, all right, here we go. The Crossfire Vortex, the Vortex Crossfire Mini Red Dot, battery life, Jared, guess it's $150 optic.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how long the battery life is on one 2032?
10,000 hours.
50,000.
Woo, that's awesome.
You guys, I know you're like, you're an old man and you say stuff like, you kids don't understand how spoiled you are. You kids don't understand how spoiled you are. When I was your age, Jared, if an optic had 100-hour battery time, we were like, yeah, rock on.
100 hours, you said?
Yeah. Oh, if it was 100-hour runtime, we were like, hell yeah.
Good
we're
Lord.
We're like Star Wars astronauts here, man. That's crazy. If I told you today that an optic had 100-hour runtime, you're like, only 100 hours? That must be
not even worth buying.
I wouldn't consider it. So the second thing that you should buy before you buy a new gun is look at your guns, and optics have come way down. Optics are so much better than they were 20 years ago. They're more compact. The battery life is insane. It's almost like stealing. The battery life is so crazy. And then, hell, you can get a Holosun that actually has a freaking a solar panel on top of it that will recharge during the day. What? And it doesn't even now. Trigicons do that because they put tritium, which is nuclear, inside of their sights.
Nuclear.
It's nuclear, so you have nuclear sights from Trigicon. But if you don't want a nuclear sight, you can get. Dude, Vortex did the same thing. Vortex has a Spark Solar Red Dot for $279. It has a 60,000 hour battery runtime, and it recharges with a solar panel.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. So before you focus on buying another gun, get a good red dot. Get a good optic. There's tons of them at Brownells right now. And then the last thing I'm going to say, and the last piece of advice I'm going to give you guys, is magazines. If you have a magazine-fed firearm, I don't care if it's a bolt action, semi-auto, whatever, handgun, rifle, RCP, PCP, CPM, if you've got one and it's magazine-fed, do a hard gut check and look at that gun and say, okay, how many mags do I have for that gun? Because a magazine-fed gun minus a magazine is no good to anybody. It's a single shot. It's an annoying single shot is what it is. And right now, mags are still available. Jared, remember we talked the other day about the chassis thing? I think it was last Wednesday. We talked about chassis and stuff and how I said that the Accuracy International 5-round magazines were running $50.
Yeah.
They're $89. I saw one advertised. I got an email. They're like, in stock, steel AICS magazine, $89.
Well, there you go.
And the Magpul ones are $24.99. Bless you, Magpul. Bless you. So whatever it is, whether it's a pistol, whether it's a rifle, I would say the way it used to be, in the olden days, I would say to you, make sure you have at least 3 mags for each style gun you've got, AK, AR, 1911, whatever. Not today. Today, thanks to Brownells has their own dedicated magazines. You guys know that, right? They have AR magazines. They have pistol magazines. And Magpul, obviously. What does Magpul make? They just make those little rubber things that go on the bottom of a magazine, right? No. They make everything. If you haven't gone to their website lately, go to their website. You're like, holy crap balls. I didn't realize they had that many products. Yeah, they do. Magazines are so inexpensive today and readily available that I'm going to give you this piece of advice. Whichever thing you're talking about, you need to have a half a dozen at least. Just take that with you. Some of you guys are the internet May guys who have like a stack of AR-15 magazines, 20 deep. They're already loaded with green tip, and you're like, I already got it. Okay, great. But for all of you guys who are recent gun buyers or whatever, or just started paying attention, magazines are so prevalent, and relatively inexpensive, that there's no reason not to. And the thing is, you're buying them for life, essentially. A quality firearm should last you your lifetime. It should be something you pass down to your children and your grandchildren. But the one thing that could make that stop working is a magazine, because magazines are supposed to be replaced over time. Yes, magazines are supposed to be replaced over time. I remember when I was a teenager, my buddy Wayne, he had a bolt-action magazine-fed .22 rifle, and it was from, I don't know where it was. His dad probably bought it from Montgomery Ward or Sears or something like that, in the 50s. And we took it up to the gun shop, and we said we wanted to get an extra magazine for it, and they're like, they said they don't make magazines for that thing anymore. And this was before the internet and before eBay and before Gunbroker and stuff like that. So, back in the old days, if a manufacturer stopped making mags or making a gun, and it was, of course, it was a proprietary magazine, right? They only made them for that specific gun. Your only other hope was to just hunt gun shows, to go to gun shows and just walk up and down the aisles, hoping that somebody would have a mag for it. And that's what a lot of guys did. A lot of gun show guys, their table was like 10,000 magazines. They had magazines for everything, right? Because you couldn't just go to Gunbroker and buy it or research it or whatever. You had to physically take your butt to a gun show and search and hunt. And think about it like that. If you had one of these rifles that your grandfather, had, and you lost that magazine, you're just SOL, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'll just fabricate one in my shop. Well, you could do that. You fabricate one in your shop.
If you can do that and they work, let me know.
If you're that good, of course, you'd be investing like 40 hours of your own time for a little magazine.
But the rewards.
Yeah, the personal reward. Or you could have a Keltec Sub 2000 that has no magazine and no magazine catch. Either. So it's essentially, whether you want it to be or not, it is a 9mm single shot. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. All right, so today's Brownell's bullet points is this: 3 things you should buy before you buy a new gun. Look at your handgun. Look at the sights on it. If they're cheap, generic crapola sights, that's Babytown Frolic. Get some good sights. An optic. Red Dot, the prices have come way down. The units are way better than they were 20 years ago. Battery life is insane. And then magazines. Go and look at what you've got. And if the gun only came with 1 mag or 2 mags or whatever, go buy half a dozen or 3 or 4 more, because it's not always going to be the case. All right? It's not always going to be the case. All right, so moving on. That's Brownells, and you can go to brownells.com, sign up for their newsletter, and never miss a sale or a new product launch or anything. All right, Duracoat, because why? Life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
That's right. Go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes and don't have an ugly gun. That's right. SWAT Fuel. Let me tell you a little secret. You guys might be tired of hearing this, or maybe you're not. SWAT Fuel 9mm plus P. It's an energy formula. It is a slow-release energy formula. It's not one of these things that makes you tremble and shake and your hands turn red and your arms get all flushed. My pre-workout makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack and my arms get all red and my face gets red. I know you're thinking that that's a good thing, but it's not a good thing. 9mm plus P, take it a half hour before you work out, because the capsules will digest in your system and it will release. And the 9mm plus P, it's sneaky, isn't it, Jared? Would you say sneaky?
Yeah. Yep.
Because you'll take it and you'll start working out, or you'll do your thing, and then a couple hours later, you're just like blowing through work, or you're having, you're being creative and you're doing stuff. You're like, damn, I'm feeling creative as hell today.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, crap, that's right. I took the SWAT Fuel. I used to do that when I was treadmilling a lot. You know, I would give myself, I'd say, okay, I'm going to do 20 minutes or 25 minutes or 15 or whatever. I would tell myself, this is your goal today. Get on here and I'm going to do 15 minutes. And I would hit my goal and I'm like, I can keep going. I can do another 5. I can do another 5. And I would find myself doing that. I'm like, I'd get to my time goal and I'm like, I got energy. I could do another 5. But then I would hit pause, jump off it, run into the other room on the whiteboard and write down ideas. I did that the other day. I worked out, I lifted, and then I finished working out and I was inspired and I recorded a video. And then after I recorded the video, I sat down and I wrote an article, a 1,200 word article in one sitting. You're like, no big deal. I do that every day. You're like, okay, congratulations. No, you don't. And then I wrote the video description and I was like, boom, 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 being productive. No, it's not cocaine. It is a natural energy formula. It's not.
We've had people compare it to cocaine.
It's non-addictive. Yeah, it's not addictive. It's actually really good if you stayed out a little bit later than you should have and drank a little more than you should have. It kind of helps you get over that. They don't advertise it as hangover helper, but it kind of is.
I have a confession. When we recorded on a Wednesday, Tuesday night was a late night with Cards Against Humanity and a lot of alcohol, and so SWAT Fuel was my pick-me-up.
Oh, it was your
Wednesday's
go-to
recording. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I don't do that very often, but we had some friends in town, friends and family in town, and it was fun.
All right. And if you go to swatfuel.com, use the promo code SOTG, get some 9mm plus P, save some money, be a happy camper. All right, it's Wednesday. Time for you guys to perk up your ears and listen to what Zach has to say.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the pimp hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
That's right, freak. See for yourself. Don't take my word for it. All right. Dangerous on Demand. How long have we been talking about this?
DOD.
Forever, right? Literally forever. Zach, how's that mock-up coming?
It's coming great.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So if you go to crossbreedholsters.com and use the promotional code SOTG, you're going to save money. You're going to get a high-quality holster that was built and made just for you and for your handgun. Oh, did you see that Melissa took advantage of the limited time taco offer?
Oh, no.
Yeah, she posted a picture. She got her Taco Time limited edition Taco Time crossbreed holster.
That's awesome.
Yep, because she heard us talking about it on the show, and she went and ordered one that day.
Melissa, send me a picture.
Yep. So she got hers. She got hers.
That's awesome.
Dangerous on Demand. That is the theme for, well, it's the homeroom. So hit that music. Oh, my Lord. Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. How many times do I have to come to this black carbon steel microphone and say to you people out there, stop making excuses not to carry your gun? Oh, I probably won't need it, or I haven't needed it yet. I haven't needed a fire extinguisher yet. You know what? I went up in my kitchen and I thought, I've been here for a while and haven't had a fire. So why do I have this extinguisher here? I threw it in the garbage. Like, I haven't had a fire for years. Why do I keep that thing around? I haven't been in a car accident for years. Why am I wearing my seatbelt? I just cut it out of the car. I'm not paranoid like you. I don't think I'm going to get into a car accident all the time like you and wear my seatbelt all the time like you. Paul, what does that have to do with carrying a gun? Gee, I don't know. Hey, Jared, I guess it goes back to, should we or should we not take the advice of morons?
The intergalactically stupid.
The intergalactically stupid. We had when was it the Bobcat attack or was it a different one? There's been so many. Didn't we have an animal attack between the Bobcat and this one? We did, didn't we? Was it a coyote? It was. We had a coyote attack between the Bobcat attack and...
It's a bobcat! Attack my wife! A bobcat!
So between the Bobcat attack, because we said, no, or was it a mountain lion? Because we were talking about whether the guy could pick it up and throw it across the lawn, and we said he probably couldn't pick that up and throw it across the lawn.
It was a tiger.
It was a
tiger.
tiger in Texas.
How could I forget?
Yeah.
How could I forget the tiger? Okay, but in Texas, the guy's like, I'm gonna smoke your tiger. Oh, don't shoot my tiger. So you're in like suburban Houston, and a tiger is like walking down the street. Hey man, what's up? So we got a story here from AK, not Autobat Kalishnikov, but Alaska. Jared, you want to go ahead and hip us?
I can do that. It says Savage Attack.
Where's it come to us from?
The Sun. The-sun.com, not .co.uk.
That's the Daily Mail.
It's the U.S. Sun.
The Sun.
Savage Attack. Horror pics show how bear mauled surveyor and bit down on his head in woods, leaving him with deep wounds.
Well, I'm glad he didn't do it on the beach.
Yeah.
Glad it was in the woods.
And head.
In head. Why are you yelling at me?
Why are the
rain?
It's like Jiminy Christmas. Horror pictures show the terrifying injuries suffered by a surveyor after he was mauled by a bear in a wood, leaving him with deep wounds to his head. Just a wood, not
a wood. It
not
was
the woods.
Because the Sun is actually originates out of the UK.
Yeah.
Alan
DeWitt Minish, who's 61, was alone and surveying land in a remote part of Alaska for a real estate agent on Tuesday morning when he saw a large brown bear walking 30 feet away. He said that it was far larger than any of the 300-pound bears he has seen in his 40 years of living in Alaska.
Did he weigh it?
I saw him, and he saw me at the same time, and it's scary, he told the Associated Press from his hospital bed after undergoing 4.5 hours of surgery. The bear closed the gap between them instantly, charging at Minish as he tried to dodge behind small spruce trees. Minish said that he had his gun in the car, but he believes the bear moved so fast that it wouldn't have made a difference. I mean, 30 feet is pretty dang close.
Go on.
He said the bear simply ran through the trees and knocked aside his surveyor pole, and as Minish used it to try to keep the animal away.
So he was using his surveyor pole to try and push the bear away.
Yeah. It was probably already in his hands. Minish was knocked to the ground and continued to try to fight off the bear as it climbed on top of him. As he lunged up on top of me, I grabbed his lower jaw to pull him away. But he tossed me aside there, grabbed a quarter of my face. He took a small bite, and then he took a second bite. And the second bite is the one that broke the bones and crushed my right cheek, basically. The bear let go and walked away as Minish believed that the animal no longer believed he posed a threat. The surveyor said the whole encounter lasted only about 10 seconds, but left him struggling to see through the blood and forced him to wait 59 minutes until emergency services could reach him. That's a long time. 59 minutes.
Self-aid, buddy aid, professional aid.
Yeah. Throughout the almost hour-long wait, he remained scared that the bear would return and attack again. I kept hearing stuff, he said. He didn't come back, and so I just lay there and worried about it. I realized I was in pretty bad shape because I had all this blood everywhere, Minish continued, explaining how he took off his vest and shirt to tie around his head in an attempt to stop the bleeding.
Okay, we can go ahead and pause the story there. So what's the moral of the story?
There's a couple.
Go ahead.
I would say the first one would be make sure you've got your own medical on you.
Mhm.
Right. And we know somebody that makes this thing called a Pocket Lifesaver kit. You can get it from pocketlifesaver.com. And that kit fits in your cargo pocket, fits in your back pocket of your jeans. It fits in your vest pocket. It fits in the inside of a suit pocket. I've put it there. And so you can have that anywhere you are, outdoors, indoors, upside down in space, wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, but I'm not paranoid like you.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to need to use a medical kit.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if you don't know how, there's also training. So,
well, I mean, and here's the thing, Jared, every time we read a story about someone getting injured and using a t-shirt or rags or whatever, or a belt or whatever, to improvise medical gear, when they report it, they praise them, right? They're like, oh, he used a t-shirt to improvise a bandage. He used a belt to improvise a tourniquet. If it's praiseworthy to improvise stuff, wouldn't it be better to just have the stuff already on you?
yes.
Wouldn't that be as praiseworthy or more so to actually already, rather than having to think, oh, I got to tear up my t-shirt and make it into a bandage, or take off my belt and try and make it wouldn't it be great if you just already had that on you? I'm not paranoid like you. I don't think I'm going to need stuff like that. Okay. You know what the sun.uk.us.co doesn't have?
Huh.
A copy editor. Did you see the caption of the photo? Alan Minish was left with a crushed jar. A crushed jar?
Oh, yep.
And then
Puncture
it's
wound on his scalp, lacerations, and many stitches.
and his gun was on the car.
Yep.
Why was it on the car?
We got to get it there.
Did he forget it there?
We got to push it out fast.
His gun was on the car.
It says, I'm going to finish the story out. It says, throughout the almost hour-long wait, he remained scared that the bear would return and attack again. I already read that. Attempt to stop the bleeding. After calling 911, he was able to give the dispatcher his GPS details, yet he said it was a struggle. It took a while to give them that because I had so much blood flowing into my eyes onto the GPS. I kept having to wipe it off. Once the rescue team arrived, they also struggled to get Minish to an ambulance. So this is after the 59-minute wait. They were forced to abandon attempts to carry him through the woods, and instead had to walk him a quarter mile through swamps, brush, and trees. He was then flown to Providence, Alaska Medical Center in Anchorage by a medical helicopter. The mauling left Minish with a crushed jaw, a puncture wound to his scalp, so deep the doctor said they could see bone, lacerations, and many stitches. He is also currently wearing a patch over his right eye, as the doctors are worried about it. However, doctors say he is now in good condition despite the dramatic injuries. He said, I guess I feel lucky. In all honesty, it wouldn't have mattered either way. You know, if it killed me, it killed me. I had a good life. I'm moving on. It didn't kill me, so now let's move on to the other direction and trying to stay alive.
He is extremely lucky. This guy's extremely fortunate. He's lucky he didn't bleed to death. He's lucky he didn't he didn't bleed to death or go into irreversible shock from blood loss.
It wasn't his time yet, because 59 minutes of bleeding is a long time.
Yeah. Well, obviously it wasn't arterial.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously, or he would have been dead. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't really know what else to say. At some point, I have to kind of feel like I get a little frustrated. I think, people just like, yeah, whatever. I got a gun. I'm not going to carry it because I'm not paranoid. Never needed it. Whatever. The most frustrating thing for me, I guess, is the people out there like Mr. Pogue and others who shall remain nameless, who talk people out of doing the right thing. We've had to deal with this for how long now, Jared? 8 years or more. How long have we been pushing the Pocket Lifesaver? Since 2005 at least. 4 or 5, I guess. When I came up with the program, the Beyond the Band-Aid program, and people told me, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that.
That's funny because I'm doing it.
You don't understand how much liability there is in teaching people how to save their own lives. You shouldn't do that, you know. And I've always said, you know, and we had to fight an uphill battle against other people in the industry that were deliberately bad. I guess I said 2005. I think I meant 15. That's when we introduced the Pocket Lifesaver. My bad. Because I was thinking this is 2011. It's not. It's 21. The most frustrating thing for me is those who should know better out there talking people out of doing the right thing. Well, I don't carry a gun all the time because it's just too impractical and it's uncomfortable and I haven't needed it anyway, so I just won't. And you shouldn't either. You know, I'm not paranoid like you. I mean, my phone has 911 on it, and I don't need to carry medical gear. And you actually shouldn't because it's too much of a liability. That kind of nonsense that people who don't know any better, they hear it from a supposed expert, and then they allow themselves to be talked out of doing the right thing. And then, but what happens? They end up in a situation where they're being attacked or they're bleeding to death, but they listened to that expert and they didn't take that class. They didn't buy that trauma kit. They don't carry their gun because they listened to that expert. Guess who's not going to be there in the woods by the side of the road on their back in a parking lot? Guess who's not going to be there? The expert douchebag from outdoordouchebags.com that convinced you not to carry a gun. When you're being killed by a mountain lion, a bear, coyotes, whatever, a tiger in suburban Houston, guess who's not going to be there to help you? Mr. Pogue, the elitist douchebag from outdoordouchebags.com. The reasonable firearms instructor guy who says, you know, sometimes you just can't carry, so you don't. Remember the guy who wrote an article? He was in our culture, Jared, about exercising and running outdoors, and he said after trying a bunch of different ways, he just found it was just too difficult. It was too cumbersome. It was too uncomfortable. So he just stopped trying.
Yeah.
He's like, I just figured I'm just not going to do it. And these people are held out to the masses as, quote, experts. But when you're in trouble, when your family is bleeding or being threatened by a deadly threat, all these reasonable sounding experts, they're not going to be there to help you. Mr. Pogue isn't going to be there to stop you from bleeding to death in the woods. You know, the reasonable firearms instructor who does all kinds of videos is not going to be there to save your family from being murdered after you're killed by the crackheads, or if you're pulled out of your car and had your skull smashed in. They're not going to be there. It's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to be dangerous on demand. It's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to have the training and the knowledge and the ability to save yourself and your family. Do what you want. All right, moving on. We got one more story. Zach shared this with me the other day. Oh, take me off this. Stop the world. I want to get off. I stop the planet. I want to get off. I'm done with this planet. I'm all done with this planet. This isn't an Onion thing or a Duffel blog or the Babylon Bee. This is a real story. This is where we are in America today. Jared?
Whoa.
Or somebody.
This is the first time I've read the... Geez. This is new to me. So, Target stopped selling sports and Pokemon cards after parking lot fight.
You heard that right. Target stopped selling sports and Pokemon cards after a parking lot fight.
The caption of the picture says, a Wisconsin man pulled a gun on 4 men who attacked him during a disagreement over trading cards. Target will stop selling all sports and Pokemon trading cards on shelves after a man was attacked over the Red Hot collectibles. The move, effective Friday, is out of an abundance of caution for staff and shoppers following the violent confrontation last week outside a Target in Wisconsin that involved a victim pulling a gun on 4 men who attacked him during a disagreement over sports trading cards. The safety of our... This is a quote from retail giant told the Post in a statement. Okay, so this is an official statement.
From Target.
Yeah, from Target. The safety of our guests and our team is our top priority. Out of an abundance of caution, we've decided to temporarily suspend the sale of MLB, NFL, NBA, and Pokemon trading cards within our stores.
What about CP cards? Are they still selling those?
Yeah, effective May 14th. Collectors can still buy cards online. Target officials said signs of the new policy started appearing on shelves Wednesday. Police said the victim in Friday's incident in a parking lot at a Target in Brookfield had minor injuries. No shots were fired, but the concealed carry weapons license holder had to pull his gun to stop the fight over trading cards. It's unclear which cards the men were fighting over at the time. So we're at a point now where adults are pulling guns over baseball cards. That's crazy.
Well, they were trying to take them from him. And he stopped.
Or they're being attacked over.
He was being attacked because he bought, it was unclear which kind of sports cards. And the 4 men, I've got the Milwaukee Urinal Sentinel here up. So 4 men who were between the ages of 23 and 35 physically assaulted the 35-year-old man as he left the Target on Blue Mound Road. The victim suffered minor injuries. Fifth suspect was identified at the scene but not arrested. Battery, strangulation, and disorderly conduct charges were presented to the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office. So it doesn't really sound to me like Target has a trading card problem. It seems more like they might have a crime problem. What if people start stealing drugs from the Target pharmacy? What if people who buy drugs in the Target pharmacy start getting jacked in the Target parking lot? Are they going to stop selling drugs in the Target pharmacy? Does Target have a pharmacy? Maybe they don't. Maybe you're like, that's Walmart. Target doesn't have a pharmacy. I don't know. I don't go to Target. So
I wonder what their actual sales numbers are on cards in the store.
Whether this is just an excuse to stop selling them.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be pretty.
Apparently they're valuable.
Yeah.
Because people will attack you in the parking lot to steal your. Zach, can you tell me which Pokemon card would be so valuable that you would rob someone in a parking lot for it?
A shiny birthday Pikachu. That's not a joke. That can go for $10,000 on eBay, I believe.
Jeez.
A shiny birthday Pikachu. All right, so, well, you're not going to be able to buy one at Target anymore because their solution to robbery in their parking lot is to stop selling the product.
Okay, I just looked it up. Not $10,000, but over 400.
Oh,
10,000. That's a huge difference.
400, 10,000, whatever. So, yep. I don't know, kids. I don't know what to tell you. But if we're going to be honest, it's not about the cards. It's not really about the cards.
The number one trainer card sold for $90,000 in July of 2020.
Oh, of 2020.
Yep. The 1999 first edition Shadowless holographic Charizard number 4 sold for $220,000 in October of 2020.
Eat a bag of feces. No way.
Yes, it did.
Seriously?
And the Pikachu Illustrator sold for $195,000 in October of 2019.
Who in the name of...
Some of these are very expensive.
Well, all right then. All right. Well, they fixed the problem. They're not going to sell them there anymore, so problem solved. There is no more crime in Milwaukee, thanks to Target. Just continuing Major League Baseball card sales. But yeah, that's Jared. That's all you got to do, man. Just figure out what people are stealing, and don't sell that anymore.
Good Lord.
You're like, oh, people are stealing it. Well, stop selling it. Nope. That'll learn them. That'll learn them. The safety of our customers as our utmost priority. Shut up. Just shut up. Oh, there's a store that sells furniture. It's called Sofa King. And this story is so fucking weak. Zach, where are we at, man?
We are about 40 minutes in.
All right.
We have a couple questions that we can go through.
Oh,
here.
we got some questions.
Yep. There's one from Andrew R. He says, it's actually a couple pronged question here. He says, best way to carry a car/truck gun, like an AR pistol in a vehicle. And there's some criteria. So the first criteria is accessible if you need it, like you suddenly find yourself in an unfriendly mob. And then the second criteria, which is totally separate from the first criteria, is it says also for when the vehicle is unattended.
Well, we kind of dealt with this last week. We talked about leaving guns in cars for people to steal.
Which might have been what prompted this question.
If you're going to, there is a company, they don't sponsor us, but they make good stuff called TUFFY, Tuffy, and they have a huge variety of gun safes and lockers designed around your specific type of vehicle. It's primarily trucks, but you can do trunks and cars and stuff too. Yeah, I wouldn't. But you know, if you're in it, you're like, well, I live in an area where I might be driving to work, and all of a sudden I find myself in a BLM flash mob, and like, yeah, that stinks for you. That really stinks for you. That you would be living there. The best thing for you to do is to have first of all, if you're in a car and it's running, your first line of defense is the car. There's this thing by your right foot. It's called an accelerator. Punch it. Oh, I can't because the road's blocked. Drive on the sidewalk. Oh, I can't because I can't because no. All right. Is your life in danger? Yes or no? Well, yes. Then drive on the sidewalk. But the people won't let me pass. Is your life in danger? Yes or no? Yes. Then drive through them. If the people you have to drive through are endangering your life, that's a deadly force scenario. So putting the car in park and digging around for a gun, unless you are absolutely blocked in, which almost never happens, then all right. But leaving rifles and stuff like that, if you got an RCP, get a lockbox if you're going to definitely do it. Or you could actually even you can do the cable lock thing where you lock it to the frame. So they would actually have to have bolt cutters. Here's the deal. The smash and grab guys don't have bolt cutters. They're smashing the window. They're going to pull the door open and grab whatever they can get in 30 seconds. They're not going to sit there with a cutting torch. And you're like, yeah, but what if they use a acetylene torch and they cut the lid off of the. That's not reality. Reality is they smash the window out and they grab whatever they can get their hands on, and then they run away. Okay. And if this is something, if you have a vehicle and you're planning on doing this regularly, there's lots and lots of products. I'm on the Tuffy Products website right now. They got things for Jeeps. They got things for trucks. They've got things for the trunk of your car. They've got the under the seat safes with the cables. They've got that you can use anywhere. Lot of stuff. But number one, if your life is in danger and you're in a car, use your right foot, stomp the accelerator, and get away from there. Well, I can't. I'm not allowed. Okay, then stay there and get the window smashed out of your car and your skull smashed in. Get out of there. Get off the X, as a friend of mine has said. What's the other question? Is that just it? Just a two-prong?
No, there's one more. It says, have you seen a noticeable dimming in tritium sights after 10 years or so?
Yeah, actually I have. I've been carrying tritium sights long enough now to have the sights die. My Glock 19/23, 23/19, it's a long story, is on its third set of tritium sights because I've owned it for that long. The great thing about night vision sights is they are scientifically 30% brighter than any other tritium. How can they do that? Because they're the manufacturer. They're not a third party. So they found a way to put more tritium gas into that little tiny vial. So if you start out 30% brighter than the competitor, what does that mean from a practical standpoint? It means it's going to last longer. It will be brighter longer. I think it was probably about 10 years when I realized that the tritium front sight on my Glock had basically given up the ghost and wasn't tritium anymore, wasn't shiny anymore or bright, luminescent. That goes back to all the police trade-in Glocks that they sell you. They're like, police trade-in Glock with night sights. Eat a bag of phalluses. When these discount or these resellers, they're like, yeah, and they charge you extra because they have night sights on them. This one you need to hold up your hand and say, nice try, Sparky. Mm-mm. You mean the sights that have been on there for 12 years? Yeah. No. You need to pay me a nuclear waste disposal fee to take those sites off of there and replace them. I mean, some people got some huevos. Some people got some nuts. They're like, yeah, it's an extra $100 because it's got the night sights on it that have been there since 1997. Wow, what a bargain. Can I pay you twice as much? Oh, Paul, you're always calling people out. They don't like it when you call them out. That's mean. It's true. So, the reality is if you've got 2002, I was going to say 1994. If you have 2002 night sights on your gun, they're probably done. I mean, they're still sights. They're made of steel. They're still sights, and they're still there. But the tritium is probably in them. Your tritium sights, like I said, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the tritium sights that you were getting were going to be good for between 5 and 10 years. And then they were going to dim to the point where they weren't luminescent anymore. The night fission, Fision, And the tritium that they use in the Student of the Gun Accurate sights is 30% brighter, has more tritium in it, tritium gas, than the competitors. When you start out 30% brighter, you have a longer usable life than the competitors. So that is the science of tritium in 2021. All right. So that's Cat in the Hat, and that be that. Tomorrow we'll be back with a grad program bonus hour. We'll do another one on Friday, and then Monday we're going to be camping. So there you go. How's that sound? All right, sounds good to me. Sounds good to you. Remember, cats and kittens and children of all ages, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.